This is fucking unbelievable. You are not going to believe who's on this. Fucking... Fucking... You wouldn't believe it. What the fuck they think they're doing? You can't. Bill Oddie.
K-Tel's Bigfoot is here, and far from frightening, it can be great fun. You can make footprints in the snow, follow the leader, make up your own games.
Bigfoot, you're fun!
Bigfoot from K-Tel.
Hello and welcome to episode 31 of my Clinging to the Seat of... Still hanging on by the seat of its pants record vinyl review show. What am I listening to and why? The show where I take the last 6 LPs that I've listened to, shove them back on the deck, and give you a few minutes chat about them, marking them out of 10 at the end. Remember, it's only opinion and I don't know any more than you do. Enjoy. Record number 1 is from 1978, Penetration's first album, Moving Targets. Now, Penetration were one of the great kind of unsung punk new wave bands of that late 70s era, featuring Pauline Murray, the voice of Pauline Murray, one of the great new wave punk female voices, along with Susie Sue, Polystyrene, The Slits, Chrissie Hynde, not really, but it's all, you know, it's all kind of that era. I liked Pauline Murray and Polystyrene. I'd like to see them have a fight in a car park at 2 o'clock in the morning to work out who's best, but it's one of them. They were kind of like grown-up punk. I wouldn't say that I was massively into them when I was a teenager, but, you know, I did like what I heard, and one of their singles, Life's a Gamble, was fantastic, and it always reminded me of Spirit of the Radio by, what are they called? Rush! And I like both those records, so. They only made 2 real LPs, which is a shame. I would have liked to have seen them still making LPs now, like Wire. They had that kind of huge potential, especially along with Pauline Murray's kind of otherworldly, kind of unique voice. There's a lot of stuff going on this record. It's interesting and brilliant. It's not, if you're looking for a three chord thrash, then this isn't it. They should have done better. I don't know why they were not kind of more, they're never kind of really talked about. They're just a kind of footnote in punk rock history now, which is kind of sad. People might disagree with that, but that's what it's like for me. They reformed over the last few years and did concerts like everyone else, but I don't know. I think they should have done a lot better than they did. And this album is a really great grown-up new wave listen without it being all too dark and magazine-y and all that kind of thing. It's poppy and good and proper and clever, and it does stand many, many listens. And I think I just got it again. There's another record they got called fucking hell. There's a second LP, I can't remember what it's called, but I've never fucking bothered to hear it, but it's kind of shameful. Pauline Murray, I always kind of saw her as the thinking man's punk crumpet. Sorry. But I'm going to give this brilliantly catchy balance of between dark and light. The first LP, I would have loved there to be an 8th LP, but I'm going to give it a, what am I listening to and why? 7. I'm sweating.
You know it feels so good, when I know you're skanking with me. So good when I know you're skanking. So good when you do.
Record number 2 today comes from a band called Fat Freddy's Drop from New Zealand. This is their 2005 debut album, based on a true story. Now, I was recommended this and I bought this last year, and it's sort of, it's one of these records I forgot about and kept pulling out and going, oh, I must listen to this. But I've listened to it a lot this week, and it's it's quite a strange one. It was sold to me as a reggae record, and it's not exactly that. It's a double album, and it has kind of different things on each side. The first side is reggae. The second side is a kind of like a bit of a sort of Prince style funk, Prince with a hangover. And then side 3 is a kind of jazzy side. I can't remember what side 4 is. So it's a bit of an inconsistent listen, but does it work even like that? The reggae is fantastic. I don't know if they're black, white, or what they are, but they're the reggae that they do on side 1. It's got one of the nicest slow kind of intros. There's no bombast on this record. Everything is incredibly subtle and incredibly well done. They're more of a kind of live band. If you can imagine Fishbone, remember Fishbone with all the "look how fucking good we are," with all that kind of panic. If you could kind of imagine a sort of grown-up, calmed down Fishbone, it's a little bit like that. I'd never heard them. They kind of exist in their own world, and I love that bands can just kind of exist and do their own thing and not really be seen by anybody. It's clear that playing live is kind of what they're all about. When I looked them up online, it was all about the live gigs. Originally, there was something called a jam band, where they didn't really have songs, and you would go to the gig and they would kind of jam for 2 hours, and you never knew what it was going to be. That's fine. I don't mind that, as long as I get to fucking pay on the way out. I am not paying on the way in to see a fucking jam band. Now, this was the first indie #1 in New Zealand. I don't know, but only 300 people live there, so I don't know how much that matters. As I say, the reggae is great on it. The jazzy side, now I'm not a really fan of jazzy things, but the jazzy side on this is absolutely fantastic. It's really, really good. It's one of these Sunday afternoon pissing with rain, stand and look out your window records. But the problem with it is, because of its inconsistency and its different things on different sides, the issue I have with it is you can only kind of play one side at a time. You can't put it on and then just flick it over. If you're having people around at the house, or you're having a certain mood, you can't just flick it over because it would fucking change the mood immediately. So you'd have to put on a different record. So it's a one side at a time. Either you want the Prince funk, you want the reggae, or you want the jazz. I can't remember what the other side is. It fucking Screamo, I've no idea. It's a difficult one to give a score to because of that, but I'm going to give it a pretty damn good 6. 6. Yes, it's time for some Other Cunts record, and the Other Cunts record this week is also from Fergus, is Bauhaus, 1982's The Sky's Gone Out. This is their third album, and I sort of pulled it, I went, ooh, because I was never into Bauhaus or any of that stuff, or any kind of goth thing at all. And this is one of the early post-punk kind of goth records by anybody. And what are they called again? Bauhaus. They kind of denied, looking at their kind of publicity and stuff, they denied very much being a goth band. We're not a goth band, they say. They describe themselves as dark glam, which to my mind is goth. So I don't know. Pete Murphy, the main man with the spiky thing, he's the only kind of thing I know about it. Now I think I actually know this record. As soon as I started playing it, I didn't realise that I knew it. I actually knew a lot of songs on it, so it was much easier to listen to it than I thought it was going to be. And I actually quite liked it. To me, goth is the most visually striking sort of youth culture, but kind of one of the least interesting, because I don't really get what it's all about. But it's the one that's lasted the most. I mean, you still see goths now, and that's fucking great. The album opens with Third Uncle, which is a track I knew, and for me that could have been a magazine record. You could put a fag paper between this and magazine quite a lot, and that whole kind of dark, spiky scene, it all sounds kind of like that to me. As I say, I was not into this. I didn't deal with this kind of thing when I was 16. I was into men with flicked hair and corduroy trousers singing about Subbuteo. Not serious white-faced loons going on about fucking architecture, I can tell you. So, but in my old age, now I kind of get it more, and I can enjoy it a lot more than I would have done then. I'm much more open to it. If I saw this, I would buy it if it wasn't too expensive. But by the same token, I can live without it. It's unrelentingly grim. It starts like this and gets grimmer and grimmer and grimmer and darker and quieter, which is kind of strange. It's not an album for company. It's not an album for a dinner party. And it's not a Friday night record at all. I don't know what the appropriate time for playing this record is. I don't know, when your grand's died or something. I'm not sure when you should play this. It sounds like I'm giving it a bad review. I'm not. I'm just trying to give it context. So someone I know must have had this record because I knew it quite well. At the end of it, I think the last track is, he says, try not to look, Exquisite Corpse. That sounds a bit like Bowie with a reggae bit in the middle. I did listen to this more than I had to, but I would probably not listen to it much in the future if I had it. I'd probably play Third Uncle and that's about it. I wouldn't be searching this stuff out, although I did like it a lot better than I was gonna, you know. My only experience of this lot was Bela Lugosi's Dead and Ziggy Stardust, and I'm quite happy to leave it at that. So I'm gonna give it a fine in its lane 5.
Hey, if you're watching and enjoying this video, please do me a favour and share it around. It's only a click of a button. For Christ's sake, don't make me come down there, eh?
The dreaded record number 4 is Transglobal Underground with their, I can't remember if it's their first or second LP, International Times. Now I'm just going to say right off the bat, I thought that I liked Transglobal Underground, and then I got this, and then I realised I did not fucking like Transglobal Underground. This is a mishmash of kind of everything I really don't like. International Times, it's a kind of double LP electronic dance record, basically based on a lot of indigenous voices, beats, and a little bit of rapping here and there. I just fucking, this is such a tosser's dinner party album. If I had this in a fucking CD, it would be straight in the bin. 4 sides of this wibbly wobbly stuff. It's basically, it's got a bit of Mexican, a bit of Indian, a bit of, I don't know what it is. The only person I know on this is Natasha Atlas sings on it, and she's an amazing singer, and she had a great record out called Adam's Lullaby, I think, in the early 2000s, but that's all I know. But she's doing the Indian part of this. So there's Indian, Mexican, 90s beats and bass lines. Basically, I think if I had a box of 90s beats, some indigenous vocal samples, I could fucking make this record. I literally could, and I actually think that you probably could as well. It's so unbelievably predictable, horrifically predictable. I would expect to hear it in a fucking wine bar. I would expect to see it on a Channel 4 travel show. File this album in your camphor wood shelving, expensive shelving next to Africa Black Mombasa or whatever it is, because it is just a fucking nightmare on that level. I would say that people that make records like this get away with fucking murder. And as I say, I thought I would like Transglobal Underground because I remember a couple of records that I really, really did like, but this is just a load of wank. And I don't say that lightly. This is the definition of a load of wank, and it's designed for people with no personality or taste, so that they could hold it up and say, look, here's my personality and here's my taste, and it's based on the indigenous tribes of the blah 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 blah. Fuck off! This is absolutely horrible. Initially, you can get into it. You put it on, first of all, and you go, oh, it's quite fat, isn't it? You know, but you know, that wears off in about 3 minutes, and then you realise there's a fucking 90 minutes of it to go. Absolute fucking nightmare. One track One 12-inch would do it, and I would find it quite bearable. I never want to fucking hear it again, and after I've done this, I'm going to put it back in the shelves, and it shall never bother me again. I'm going to give it a horrible, pretentious, nonsense, fake bollocks 3.
What's that man? Oh, honey, what's that man?
Record number 5, and this is going to fucking annoy a lot of people, is David Bowie's 6th, I can't believe it's not butter, David Bowie's 6th LP, Aladdin Sane. And I don't know if it'll surprise you to know that I like David Bowie, but I'm not a crazy fan. My situation with him is that I'm kind of happy with the hits. I'll stick with the hits and Ziggy Stardust. I'm not, oh, what's the one in the 80s with the fucking, you know, the one with the big drums. Anyway, yeah, I'm sort of on the fence. I get it, I understand how important Bowie is and all that, but for me, it only clicks at a certain level. This is from bang in the middle of which is his best period. I don't care what any cunt says. The glam era is the best era for David Bowie, and if you're saying something different, then you're a fucking tit. It's T-Rex, Sweet, Bowie, the Grumbleweeds, it's all in there together, and this is the best time to listen to him. And I could have, you know, I really like the Ziggy Stardust LP, but I could have liked this LP as much if it was the one I had. The only reason I like the Ziggy Stardust LP so much is because I have it and I know it and I kind of grew up with it. This is the same thing. It's the same kind of music, and if I had this, I would probably feel the same way. I chose this, and then when I first started playing it, I fucking regretted it. And the reason why, I just couldn't be arsed. That's how I felt. I couldn't be arsed with Bowie, and I've always felt a little bit like that. But then again, it could have been a lot worse. I could have fucking chosen Tin Machine.
You belong in rock and roll.
Oh, fucking hell. Watch That Man is a great opening track. I really liked it. But my heart sinks. My heart sinks when he goes into the kind of the vaudeville stuff that he does, which is good. But for me, it's a little bit like when Paul McCartney does his kind of music hall stuff. It just fucking rubs me up the wrong way. I understand it. Bowie, Roxy, punk, the whole thing. But it wasn't like that for me. I didn't need Bowie and Roxy to get into punk really at all. For me, like I said, he's the hit singles, the Modern Love album and Ziggy Stardust. This was the first album after Ziggy Stardust, so it's still kind of, still kind of that sort of thing. There's no surprises on this for me. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. I was horrified when Bowie died. I really was. I mean, as I'm saying like, oh, I don't like Bowie. I do like Bowie. It's just not a special thing for me. But I did feel fucking terrible when he died. Why can't I commit to David Bowie? I don't know what it is. I'll never know. But I'll have to accept him. He's here. He's done what he's done, and I'll just have to fucking live with it. David Bowie, Aladdin Sane. Great for everybody else, and this is definitely a case of it's not you, it's me. If I was to meet David Bowie right now, I'd say, look, David, it's not you, it's me. But I'm going to give it a 5.
That's the way the money goes. That's the way the money goes. That's the way the money goes.
The last album today on today's show, it comes from the band, group, project, whatever you want to call them, M. This is from 1979. It's called New York, London, Paris, Munich. Now, they were a sort of new wave, synth, disco, not band exactly, project, featuring a guy called Robin Scott, who was the main man, and he kind of brought everything together. He was a bit of an enigma, and I think even Mark King from Level 42 might have played bass. But this was 1979, so they were bucking the trend of kind of new wave and doing kind of Euro disco. It's really hard, electro, Euro, disco kind of stuff. You'll know the single Pop Music, everyone knows the fucking single Pop Music, it was huge. But there was a lot more singles and a lot more records. They managed to eke out a career over 6 LPs, and they definitely were not worth that. But early on, they were worth quite a lot. I liked them a lot. I think conceptually, it was all kind of espionage and sexy spies and all that kind of thing. Robin Scott had some kind of tenuous connection to John Lydon. I can't remember what that was, but the other singles were Moonlight and Muzak, Official Secrets, That's the Way the Money Goes, and I was buying all these singles. I couldn't wait till they came out. I was probably the only person who was buying them. I liked the art. I liked I liked how they sold it. That was as important to me as what they were selling. In fact, how they sold it was a lot better than what they were selling. I immediately fell in love with the sort of conceptuality of what they were doing without even knowing what they were doing. And I was like 15 years old, and I still feel like that. There's a sort of connection here between M and Frankie Goes to Hollywood for me, and I don't know what that is, but whatever Frankie Goes to Hollywood, it gives me the same kind of feeling. Of course, it was diminishing returns over the years, and the records kind of got worse and worse, and I suppose they probably re-released Pop Music 50,000 times, loads of fucking, I know they did, loads of remixes, and the albums kind of got poorer and poorer, and I still bought the singles, and if they were coming out now, I was fully committed. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's great, but somehow for me it was fucking great. I don't expect anyone else in the world to like this, certainly not the way I do. I'll always be a big fan. They made a feature-length, Robin Scott made a feature-length video/movie. It's about an hour long. I think it's available on YouTube. It'll be fucking terrible, but I'm certainly going to watch it. I always expected Robin Scott to do something fucking great because he had this, and I thought he was going to do something great, but he never really did something great. He went into world music or something really fucking ridiculous. David Bowie is on this album. He's doing hand claps, and I say that's the best work that Bowie ever did. Anyway, I love it, and I still get a thrill out of playing it, but as I said, I don't expect anyone else to love it. It's Euro trashy, UK Euro trashy, but I also think it's clever and a little bit exciting, and I don't really know why. But I'm going to give M, New York, London, Paris, Munich, everybody talk about 7. Thank you very much for watching the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was a little bit late. Life gets in the way. Please, if you enjoyed it, like, share, comment. It's always good to hear what you've got to say. I'm ready if I can go toe-to-toe with you in the comment section if you want. And it keeps the thing alive. And I will see you all very soon. Thank you. Good night. Ho ho! Him as well.
I don't know anything about it.